Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. Today I have a few snippets of information regarding Battlefront 2 as well as some other Star Wars games that I briefly wanted to mention. As I said a couple of days ago, there was an incoming article / interview from PlayStation Lifestyle that I hoped would have some new details regarding Battlefront 2, and it did have a few snippets of information. However, it seems like all the developers over at Star Wars Celebration knew what they were allowed to say and what they weren't allowed to say, meaning that most interviews contained the same information. But there was a few things I wanted to bring up that was semi-new or at least interesting to talk about, and big thanks to Star Wars Gaming Outpost for making a nice summary of all the stuff that were a little bit new and wasn't just reiteration. You can find a link to both the original article and to Star Wars Gaming Outpost article in the description below. But first off, Battlefront 2's creative director called the game's progression system a trooper's career, and during this career you will be able to customize your character and weapons to fit your playstyle. Basically just a new wording of what we've heard before. It seems like they're really focusing on a long-term progression system, and that it won't just be something where you say, hey, I want this jump pack and bowcaster and shield, and then I'm done. But it's gonna be something you can actually work towards for a long time, a little bit like in Battlefield, I'm assuming, but hopefully in a more unique way. Also, next up, something that also brought a little bit of confusion to the community. The creative director also said that you will be able to form your own squad. And some people thought that, oh well, this means that a squad system from Battlefield 1 is confirmed. And no, it isn't. I've spoken to Dennis at the Q&A and he said that we don't have a partner system, we don't have a squad system, but we have something brand new that we're exciting to share details about later. This is probably something we will learn more about at EA Play, and I think the reason to why he said form your own squad is simply because it's a quite natural thing to say about when you group up with friends and play with them, just that it can cause some confusion considering that most people will think about the squad system in Battlefield when you mention squads. And next up, they also said that the campaign will have a 360 combat approach, which will aim to fit within DICE's open, authentic experience. It's a little bit tricky to understand what he says here. It was in response to if the campaign was linear or not, and this was the response he gave, so I'm not sure exactly what that means. Honestly, I was expecting a fairly linear campaign. I mean, it's a story, you want it to be fairly linear. It shouldn't be like side quests all over the place. That just wouldn't really work with this kind of story, but I'm guessing that this 360 experience might give us more options than I first thought. And lastly, they also mentioned that Aiden's back droid is customizable, and it can slice, shoot and take down enemies. So far we've only seen it do the little shocking attack in the trailer, so I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit like R2 with some nifty tricks, but maybe not as physical as they make it sound here, that you can actually slice down people. So it seems like that droid is going to be quite interesting to use, and I like the fact that they mentioned that you can actually customize it as well. So maybe you can choose if you want to make it into a very physical droid or a droid that, I don't know, shoots lasers or shoots electricity at enemies. And next up, I wanted to mention that a few more high-res versions of the Kylo Ren and Rey Last Jedi outfits was luckily released. I'm honestly not entirely sure where they originated from. It was not from EA or DICE, and it shows that it was Rey's hair and not her color, like I said in the last video I talked about this. But I still think these outfits looks really cool, and something I find interesting is the fact that Rey looks a little bit more aggressive and dark here, whereas Kylo Ren looks a little bit more light and chill here compared to The Force Awakens. So it's almost like they're matching each other in that sense. And as you can see in the little text, it also says that this is not in-game models, but this is production stills from the movie. And lastly, I also wanted to mention that Star Wars First Assault, a cancelled Star Wars game from quite a few years ago, now had its tech beta leaked, meaning that if you have a modded Xbox 360, you can actually get a chance to play that beta yourself. But it's very simple, and there's already a lot of gameplay on YouTube from it that you can just search for. Just type in Star Wars First Assault and you will find a lot of gameplay. Honestly, I think it looks like a pretty sweet game. It's not really similar to Battlefront, but if they would have made a new Republic Commando game, I think that this engine would have worked perfectly for that. But that is all details for this quick little roundup. Thank you guys very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.